Story 1. People are nicer to you. They smile more, hold the door for you, and so on. Story 2. My daughter went through an awkward stage and was bullied in middle school. Because of that, she doesn't believe she's beautiful. Every day someone tells her she is beautiful and compliments her hair. I tell her that this kind of attention is not something people with ordinary appearances usually receive. Story 3. People begin to stare at you. Wherever you go, at least a few people turn their heads to get a look. Story 4. People no longer give me direct eye contact. As a 62-year-old woman, I have noticed this change over the years. Story 5. People gravitate toward you and tend to be nicer. You seem to have an easier time in life than others. Being attractive helps with things like getting jobs, even though it should not matter. Story 6. All of these signs are cementing that I am not attractive. Story 7. The police try harder to find you if you go missing. Story 8. Some people will tell you that others of the same sex may not be fond of you. Story 9. Gay men tell you how pretty you are. They are not trying to sleep with you. They are just complimenting you on your appearance. Story 10. As a man, it is when other men try to outcompete you in anything, from everyday small talk to career accomplishments to your private life. Story 11. I'd say it's a good sign if social opportunities seem to happen without you trying. Also, if women tease you, that's a great sign. Story 12. You cannot be too friendly with men without them assuming you are interested in them. Story 13. I figured this out way too late in life, so here is a freebie for young single people. Married or gay people of the opposite sex are relaxed around you, but single straight people are very shy and awkward. Story 14. I noticed that guys always fix their hair when my attractive friend walked by. It seemed like a subconscious action. Story 15. One sign that you are attractive is when people become slightly awkward around you. Suddenly they forget how to speak or laugh too loudly at an unfunny joke. Or when strangers give a brief double take. Not a stare but a blink and a second look as if to ask, "Who is that?" Story 16. At its worst, people do not respect your boundaries and tend to make comments that are competitive, demeaning, or attempting to knock you down a peg, sexual, condescending, or backhanded, jealous, or simply inappropriate or rude. I am not trying to generalize, but that has been my experience. People tend to think I am dumb, ditzy, stuck up, or that I grew up with no hardships. It depends on the person, but I feel people are either hot or cold toward me. There is no in-between. Story 17. I am constantly on the receiving end of people's generosity. Attractive people seem to receive more generosity than elderly, disabled, impoverished, or otherwise needy people. Story 18. Does this count as a sign? People always assume you're in a relationship, think you've had multiple past relationships, and are shocked to learn you're single. Story 19. People stare at you without laughing. People often compliment you. People initiate conversations with you. The opposite sex goes out of their way to talk to you. You have a high social media following. Story 21. People assume you are in a relationship without prior context. 2. Strangers are generally friendlier and more willing to speak with you. 3. Children and older adults will tell you you are attractive. 4. People will make excuses to be in your personal space. 5. You often notice people glancing at you repeatedly. 6. Others assume you have few personal struggles and are surprised to learn about difficulties with friends or dating. 7. People you consider out of your league regularly express romantic or sexual interest in you. 8. You are more quickly forgiven for social mistakes. Story 21. For attractive girls, everyone just assumes you are a bitch. Story 22. I know this one. I have been attractive before and I did not enjoy it. People talk to me more often, for longer, and for seemingly odd reasons. I have severe social anxiety, so it felt unpleasant. Story 23. People treat you like a project. They really want to be that person who makes a big difference in your life. They will look for what you seem to be missing, such as confidence or resources, and try to be the one to offer it to you. They are trying to be special to you. Story 24. Generally, you get more attention, both good and bad. Strangers are often nicer, but friends may compete with you or put you down. It feels like being famous. People talk about you more and want to be seen with you, but they are also more likely to gossip and spread personal information about you. Story 25. I read most of this thread and can say that I am not attractive. I already knew because I own a mirror, but it is nice to have additional evidence. Story 26. When I sit by a campfire, the smoke always seems to follow me. Story 27. How you walk. I was attracted to a woman I worked with, and I could hear her coming from her cadence and footfalls. She moved with confidence and grace, and I was completely enamored. She is my significant other now. She still walks into a room like a 1940s movie star. I am a lucky man. Story 28. If you are a woman, other women will be rude and curt with you. Story 29. People clutch their significant others more tightly. Story 30. People tell you. Literally, the only way my brain is tricked into feeling good about my appearance. Millennial weight culture, older generations, and being an ugly kid made for a bad time. Story 31. People always comment on my appearance, weight, build, and style. Feels strange because I was obese a year ago. Now I'm hot, I guess. Is what I wanted, but I genuinely don't know how to handle that attention. You can tailor your looks, but building confidence is fucking hard. Sometimes I'm the best looking guy in the gym and I still think, no, that can't be me. I end up in denial and then feel like a narcissist for thinking that way. It's weird. Story 32. People can be dismissive of your accomplishments. They may respond as if to say that it was obvious your efforts would succeed, even when you are relatively humble. Story 33. People will tell you, but there is a big difference between being good-looking and being attractive. Personality, a sense of humor, confidence, clothing, and the energy you bring into a room are far more important than your appearance. Best of all, the more you work on yourself through exercise, personal growth, and discipline, the better you will feel and the more attractive you will become. Story 34. Unfortunately, I received a lot of unwanted attention, sometimes in sparsely populated places that made me feel unsafe. Occupational hazard. Once a man tried to give me $20 just for being beautiful. I have very pale blue eyes, darker skin, and darker hair. I am nearly 50 now, have some gray hair, and no longer attract that attention. It is freeing. Story 35. A woman who works at a gas station called me a beautiful man for a week. I was certain she meant it ironically, so I stopped going because I thought she was making fun of me. Story 36. I never notice when I'm out with my husband. When I'm alone, people are exceptionally nice. Once a man sprinted ahead of me across a parking lot to open an automatic door. I laughed because he simply waved his hand and gestured for me to enter. People offer to help a lot. They stare and make excuses to talk to you. If you are in line at a bar, someone may turn around and offer you their spot. You get more free items at restaurants and are often seated quickly at top restaurants in major cities. Sometimes, people give off strange energy. They seem angry for no reason, try not to be rude, but secretly resent you for looking good. Others fawn over you and tell you how beautiful you are. It is an experience. People assume your life is perfect and that you never struggle. Story 37. These are more detailed observations for an attractive woman. 1. Men make no mention of their wives, girlfriends, or partners. If you are not attractive and act friendly, they will include their wives within the first 5 minutes. 2. You receive free items, tickets, products, invitations. There is usually an excuse, for example, I just had an extra, which is rarely the real reason. 3. You receive an excessive number of compliments. Ironically, they compliment your intelligence more, since they assume you have already heard comments about your beauty. 4. Men start showing off and try to impress you in obvious ways. An older man at the office remembers he can juggle. Another begins talking about how good a hunter he is. 5. Male colleagues and friends dress more stylishly and start going to the gym, often while trying to flirt with you. 6. Men you have just met often stumble over their words. 7. If you go on Tinder dates, no one expects you to split the bill 50-50. Bonus. All your jokes suddenly seem much funnier. Story 38. You catch people staring at you. Others tell you. Story 39. If people, especially those of the same sex, are mean to you, it is often due to jealousy and self-hatred they project onto others to bring them down. This happens more often than you think. Sometimes someone senses a rival and reacts as if the other person threatens their chances of passing on their genes. People have a strong biological drive to spread their genes, and that can lead to hostility toward attractive individuals. Story 40. People look at you but then look away, especially people your age. Story 41. All interactions in life are easier for you than for others around you. Story 42. When someone of the opposite gender tries to forcibly befriend you for an afterparty. Story 43. As someone who used to be, sorry to sound conceited, but quite conventionally attractive before a large weight gain, I resembled Kim Kardashian around 2007. You will notice that people stare at you in groups. Everyone's eyes frequently return to you. You cannot have a single male friend, at least as a woman, who does not inevitably end up telling you he has feelings for you. You receive frequent compliments. People find you more charming, and you get away with social behaviors that others might not. You can look disheveled and be perceived as cozy rather than a hot mess. Social anxiety can be seen as quirky rather than off-putting. You do not have to try at all to make a man develop feelings for you. It does not matter if you are socially awkward. Men will show interest even if you are awkward. Think of Rory Gilmore in Gilmore Girls. Socially awkward, but attractive enough that men still pursue her. You also learn that, as a straight woman, 98% of men who try to be your friends are attracted to you. How do I know this? Because when I gained 80 pounds, so few men tried to befriend me. I believe my personality and charisma improved with time. But where did the men go? I thought, they liked me because I was funny. Gaining weight taught me this lesson. In 98% of cases, proximity equals attraction. Very rarely did a man want to be in my proximity when I became heavier. This was an interesting realization I will not forget as I continue my weight loss journey. Story 44. They lock eyes with you. Babies, older people, teenagers, and children will love your presence. Story 45. Nobody suggests that you put a brown paper bag on your head. Story 46. If you are a woman, people tell you you do not smile enough. I can imagine that if a woman were considered unattractive by default, no one would tell her to smile because it would produce little change. People may also tell you to lose weight because they expect you to glow up. Others get angry when they fail to please you or make you laugh. It is as if they feel entitled to attractive women smiling at them and become upset when one does not. Story 47. A mysterious old witch keeps trying to get you to eat her homegrown apples. Story 48. When you start a new job, you get along with everyone quickly, and they usually welcome you. Story 49. People will look at you for the first time and blurt out, "Wow, you are so pretty." I have seen it happen often. Story 50. You can get away with things that other people cannot. People will laugh at your jokes even if they are not the funniest. They will hire you even if you are not the most qualified. They will give you the benefit of the doubt when you misspeak. Story 51. My friend's daughter told me I look like Beyoncé. She is getting everything in my will now. Story 52. Everything people have said here is true. There are many benefits. However, there is a serious downside. People who engage in inappropriate sexual behavior, stalkers, and other unsettling individuals. I am 52, single white female. My first stalker was when I was 13, and I still deal with this behavior. I have lost count. Being charming goes a long way. Someone who is average with a great smile and personality can be just as or more attractive than someone who only has a pretty face or physique. Story 53. Lots of compliments from strangers, free stuff, and people going out of their way to do something for you. Unfortunately, pretty privilege comes with an expiration date, so it is incredibly important to have a well-rounded personality, good morals, and a sense of humor. Goddamn, I am gonna milk pretty privilege for as long as I can, laughing my ass off. I'm dumb but not stupid. Story 54. If you have a grandmother, she always knows whether you are beautiful or handsome. Story 55. Too long. Did not read, 30-year-old man. I grew up completely overlooked with no female attention and was the shortest person in my grade until 12th grade. I had a growth spurt and worked hard to become increasingly attractive into my mid-20s. No exaggeration. Being attractive makes life feel much easier. Some noticeable differences that come to mind. I never need to repeat myself or move out of the way in busy areas and on sidewalks. I routinely receive the benefit of the doubt from strangers and acquaintances. People go out of their way to ask for my advice. They are curious about me and my opinions. Others are willing to help when they previously would have felt inconvenienced. Rejection now feels rare. Dating apps work, and I am excited about my matches. People take notice when I enter a room. Lingering gazes instead of feeling invisible. Much more eye contact. Particularly babies and middle-aged women tend to stare directly. What I say matters. I have more subliminal authority in social situations. At its core, being attractive increases confidence, makes a positive mindset the default, and improves one's quality of life in daily interactions and long-term opportunities. My younger years were a feedback loop of frustration and lower confidence, reinforced daily by the way strangers and acquaintances treated me. Those who have never seen both sides will have a hard time fully grasping the privilege or the disadvantages that come with attractiveness. Consistent self-improvement to achieve conventional attractiveness was the best thing I have done and continue to do for my life. It is not conceited to want positive first impressions. Your looks help get you in the door so your inner self can shine. The benefits are tangible and real. Story 56. It is always hard to know if you are pretty. I think I am attractive to some. Here are a few reasons why. People give me free things such as a day pass to a gym, a cookie, or a discount. This is usually the opposite sex. I get catcalled a lot, especially in cities. Often it is just a whistle or someone calling me gorgeous. Many people remember my name and face even after minimal interaction. Sometimes people walk up and ask if I am single. People sit next to me more than others on public transportation. My friends might try to make moves on me. I really hate this, and it also depends on the group of friends. I am by no means very attractive, but probably at least a 5 out of 10. Story 57. If you are a man, lots of blowjobs. If you are a woman, lots of coke. Story 58. Go to Korea. If you are considered unattractive, you have to pay to enter clubs. But if you are good-looking, you do not. My Korean friend told me this, and we could not stop laughing. Ugly tax. Story 59. I went on a date about 5 years ago to a Vietnamese restaurant run by a single middle-aged Asian woman. When I went to pay the check, she said to me in front of my date, "Damn, you're very handsome, like a movie star." Last year, over the summer, a very imposing shirtless black man was walking toward me in a parking lot, making very aggressive eye contact the whole time. When he reached me, he said, "Damn, this motherfucker looks like a movie star, like Brad Pitt or some shit," in a friendly tone. I keep those two moments in my pocket. Story 60. Girls are afraid to date me. They are totally terrified. I haven't had a date in months. It's not easy being very good looking. Story 61. You get hit on a lot and other girls are jealous. Story 62. People pay attention to you. I had no idea until I reached middle age and became invisible. Story 63. People smile when you talk to them. They keep their gaze on you and are more attentive. Story 64. When you walk the streets, people passing by let their eyes linger for a few seconds as you cross each other. Story 65. As a teacher, children are nicer to me and follow directions more readily. I also seem to be safe for students with special needs even though they do not know me. The best indicator is when the little ones say they like my dress or my lipstick, or when one preschooler told me you are beautiful today. He made my day every time he said it. I think it is because they like my outfits. Story 66. You can say crazy things, and people say you are funny, not eccentric. Story 67. When every comment on a "what is a sign you are attractive" post feels relatable to you. Story 68. If my cat likes you, you are gorgeous. He is generally stubborn, and you have to let him come to you. You cannot force him to accept pets. If he is letting you pet him, It tells me that you are a person who respects boundaries, and that is extremely attractive. Story 69. I have two older sisters. One of them is very model-like. Growing up, I noticed the difference and felt less safe and less comfortable going out with her than with my other sister. Men would approach her, comment on her appearance, touch her, or otherwise interact with her. For example, when we went to buy a washing machine at Home Depot, the salesperson followed us to the car even though she said it was unnecessary. He repeatedly placed his hand on her lower back even as she moved away, and my mother had to step between them. Another time, she rolled down the window at a stoplight to tell a man that his gas cap was open. He stared at her in shock, then slowly released his brake and hit the car in front of him. She felt terrible. Situations that should have been normal were never normal when we were with her. On the flip side, we also received free things, special treatment, and perks when we were with her, unlike when we were with our other sister. She is about a decade older and in her late 40s now. I have seen her process the loss of her pretty privilege. Situations where she used to get a free pass but is now treated like everyone else. It genuinely disillusions and confuses her because she had not realized that not everyone received that treatment. Story 70. Free stuff for you and whoever is with you. Unexplainable upgrades. No waiting in lines. You are escorted immediately into events or clubs. You are waved through security without being checked. Excessive recognition for simply doing your job. Warnings instead of tickets. People are drawn to you. Babies and animals are attracted to you. Both genders cut ties if you end friendships. Random people approach you, ask your opinion, or compliment your appearance. People hold eye contact, do double takes, and stare. Strangers ask you to take photos with them. Wait staff, bartenders, and service staff remember your name when you return and give you preferential treatment. Many social media requests from real people, not bots. Promoted to roles you are not qualified for. Partners rarely break up with you, and exes have difficulty moving on. Insecure partners may cheat because they feel inadequate. Endless social invitations. Camera crews want you in their shots. Your ex's family still loves you after a breakup. Elderly people freely tell you how beautiful you are. Being denied or rejected is extremely rare. If you are kind and have a sense of humor, all of this increases. Story 71. The people who always tell you about their lives at bus stops, spontaneously and without you asking, laughing out loud. Story 72. You won best looking or cutest in your high school superlatives. That is a good sign. Story 73. I was walking past people, and they just sort of stared at me. At least I assume that is what it was. A 17 or 18-year-old boy walked past me today and winked, and I wanted to say, "Look, mate, thanks and all, but I am almost 30. Story 74. People will often tell you or your husband, if you are a woman, even if you are standing right there. Men often attempt to flirt or shoot their shot in strange places like the grocery store or while passing through a convenience store. You may hear weird whistles or yells when walking down the street. People stare, including children, especially little girls, who will often say something. There are occasional instances of being followed. People try to talk to you even if you try to put on a resting bitch face or seem uninterested. People ask if you have ever modeled. That about sums it up. Story 75. When I was a young man, I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. Women asked me out all the time. Coming from a small town in New Mexico, I just assumed it was something city girls did. I never thought it had anything to do with my attractiveness. Young women would stare and make serious eye contact, and I had no idea what it meant. Story 76. When you get a double take, people glance at you, look away, then realize they like how you look and stare again. Story 77. Also, if you are always admiring yourself in the mirror, I see no one. Only my eyes matter. Story 78. You have plenty of options, but you only choose the wrong ones. Laughing out loud. Story 79. People say yes when you ask them if they want to have sex. Story 80. What do you do when you are at a stoplight and a car pulls up next to you while you are in the middle of a bite of an onion ring and the driver asks how you are doing? Story 81. As a 29-year-old man, I came to understand that I'm notably attractive this past year after a few friends pointed it out and after experiencing several situations that make it obvious. When I go to bars, people want to talk to me. I almost always get hit on by at least one woman, and women often initiate, especially when I go out alone. If I'm not directly hit on, women and their friends tend to dance or hover near me. When I meet female friends of my friends, their eyes light up and they maintain prolonged eye contact. People include me in conversations when I'm quiet in a group. I receive praise for small things at work, and my mistakes are often downplayed. I suspect that my appearance helped me get my current and previous jobs. A woman at my current workplace who is known for being difficult has never been unkind to me in nearly 2 years. On my last vacation, 2 different women separately asked to join me on activities, one for a hike and another for a vineyard trip. Customer service representatives are generally helpful to me. Sometimes I make off-kilter remarks to get a reaction, and they are almost never met with negativity. New acquaintances go out of their way to spend time with me. I was an unattractive child in middle school and high school, so I remember how people treated me before. During periods of poor mental health when I could not care for myself or my appearance, all of these effects disappeared. Pretty privilege is very real. I can only imagine how these effects are amplified for women and for people who are more attractive than I am. Today, I see it as an advantage and aim to maintain and maximize my appearance for as long as I can without obsessing over it. Story 82. People approach you for any reason, just for the opportunity to see you up close. Story 83. You are socially accepted in most situations. People approach you more, and some make it very obvious that they are into you. Story 84. Often women will look, then turn and run. If you hear a scream, you are doing something right. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.